Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome to Soil and Sazon. My name is Josefina, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I taught myself how to make tostadas caseras, which just mean homemade tostadas. Alright guys, I need you to keep in mind, this is my first time making these. I have had zero instruction and zero guidance. I am simply going off of what I saw growing up. So my mom would make these tostadas only for special occasions, like when we were having parties and gatherings with the family. And my family is massive, so she needed a place that she could let them all out to air dry and it not take up a ton of space in the house. So my dad put two of these together for her. They are just some wood with some chicken wire. This one had the smaller holes. There's one other that he made her that's got the bigger holes, but this is the one I went with. And this is me being super happy and surprised, saying wow, because it actually fits on my island perfectly. So he made these for her. I want to say it was like somewhere around 2005-ish. So this thing is almost 20 years old. She's actually unaware that I have them because they were just hanging out in my sister's shed all this time. So if you're seeing this now, thanks, Ma. Moving on though, now I'm going into making the tortillas, because in case you weren't aware, tostadas are just fried tortillas. The only difference with this and just frying up tortillas that you have left over, say if you made it or if you went to the store and you bought tortillas and you want to make tostadas, the difference with these is that these are partially cooked versus like ones you get at the store are fully cooked tortillas. So the texture on these is different. And on top of that, once they are par cooked, then they get air dried. And when they're air dried, that's when you fry them. And I'll show you and explain a little bit more in detail later on in the video once I have fried some up. So I am just working on making my tortilla dough, and I'm using some masa harina. I'll link down the ones that I use down in the description box in case you are unsure of what to purchase. And if you haven't heard me talk about it before, the one that I use is Macienda, which is an heirloom masa harina. It's so good. I could talk about it forever. Just the quality of it, the smell of it, the taste of it just makes my mouth water just thinking about it. Anyways, so now with my pan on medium-high heat, I'm starting to form my tortillas. Honestly, I wish that I would have gone with a different pan, and I'll explain why later on in the video. But I am putting it down and I am only letting it cook long enough to where those sides start to lift, and then I can flip it over. Oh, and this is where I drop one, and I'm gonna show you guys what I do. So when you pick it up, don't immediately go to scrape off what got stuck on your pan. Let it like get crispy and brown, and it just makes it so much easier to scrape off and pull away. If you do it while it's still wet, it is just gonna smear it everywhere and you're gonna have an even bigger mess. So back to what I was saying, I'm putting them down. I'm letting them cook on one side, and see, now I flip that one and I'm giving it just long enough for it to create that little seal on the other side, and then I am taking it off and transferring it over to the rack to air dry. And I'll show you right here. You see how it's not like brown, it's not super cooked, it's still that really light color. That's all you want. On several of the tortillas, I do have like little brown spots, but like I said, guys, this is my first time. I'm trying to teach myself. I got nobody in the kitchen telling me what I need to do and what not to do. So I'm gonna keep practicing this technique, and I know it's only gonna get better and better and better. You are gonna see as I go along and make these, when I'm transferring them over to the rack, I have them in 3 groups because I was testing out different heat levels. So I did some, the first section on that really medium high heat, then I went down to more of a medium heat on the next group, and then on the last one I went down to a medium low because I just wanted to see if there was a difference, and there was zero difference. So it was just a little test. It has now been 3 days since I first started the tostadas, and the next day when I had gone to check on them, they were almost done. It was just the centers of them that were not dehydrated. So then I waited and checked on them the next day after that. So that would have been 2 days after that. And at that point they were all completely dry. I just couldn't record the video. It was Father's Day. So now that it is Monday, I can go ahead and fry these tostadas up. And let me show you guys. This is what they end up turning out like. They are hard, like hard. This is a great way to preserve and have for later. So I'm gonna show you guys what this is like when it gets fried up. I am super hopeful that for my first time, these are gonna turn out correctly. I'm so excited. Had I been able to put them out in the sun, they definitely would have been ready the same day. It takes anywhere from like 4 to 6 hours for them to dry in the sun, but I didn't have a spot out in my yard where I could lay that massive thing other than my picnic table, which is currently covered in grow bags that are growing potatoes, which will need to be harvested like this week. So let's get to that frying process. I had my heat at a medium and I realized it was too high, so now I've got it down to a medium low. And I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. So when you add it in, you're gonna work really fast because these will cook extremely fast. You're gonna put it in and then you're just gonna kind of manipulate it a little bit by pushing down around the edges because it's gonna wanna like fold in on itself. So you'll do that for a few seconds and then leave it alone. So put it in. It'll start to do its thing. And now I'm gonna start pushing it to manipulate those edges to stay down. And that took 40 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna take another one. A couple of mine did crack, so that is gonna cause a little crack in the edge. This is my first time trying these, so I already know there's gonna be lots of different things that I wanna try to do differently later. And the first thing that I see that I wanna do differently is I'm gonna use a pan that I'm more comfortable with because I used a newer pan. I got it a couple months ago and I've been trying to get used to the heat on it. So the next time I'm going to use a pan that I'm familiar with its heat level. These right now are on the smaller side. I'm okay with that, but I am gonna try to make them a little bit bigger the next time. Look at them. Look at them. Okay, so to just clarify, the difference is that with these, as you can see, obviously they've got like the little skirt wiggles everywhere, but if you look closely, there's no separation of the layers because when I cooked the tortillas, I didn't allow them to get to that puffy stage. Whenever you do, say like a frying tortilla, like a store-bought one, and you put that in oil, because those layers had already previously separated when they were cooking, it ends up creating this like bubble effect, and then oil can get trapped up inside of it, or when you go to bite it, you'll have lots of different layers just kind of breaking off everywhere. With this, that doesn't happen because those layers were never created. I took a bite of one earlier, guys. You hear how crunchy that is? I took a bite of one earlier just to test it out. And off camera, I got really emotional and teary-eyed because I haven't had some of these since I was a teenager because my mom hasn't made them in so long. And I just remember her doing it for parties often. And I remember my madrina doing it too. And she has passed away. And so it just kind of, it just flooded all of these like teenage memories, all of these like times of growing up and all of these women in my life that have taught me all of these things by simply watching them. I know for the first batch, it's not perfect, but as I go along and I do it more, I'm gonna get in tune with everything and I'm gonna know what size, what thickness, what temperature, and I'm gonna be able to just get it as easily as they did. So here's to you, Madrina and Mom. I'm proud to have been a watcher in your kitchens as you guys did the things that you did. That crunch though. The flavor on these is so good. If you want to see what it is that I'm gonna be loading up onto these tostadas, then stay tuned because my next video will be the next episode of Mexican Cookbook Club where I will be loading these up with a yummy, delicious chicken dish. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I hope that you're willing to hit that subscribe button and stick around with me for a while on my journey to becoming a homesteader and teaching you how to make Mexican food from scratch. I'll see you in the next one.